Welcome back, and we're moving into our second segment for today as we join with Tide Belize to celebrate their 20th anniversary. And we have with us on set Celia Mahung, who is the Executive Director of Tide. We have Muschamp, who is the Protected Areas Manager, and Delonie Forman, who is the Tide Tours Manager. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I could just think about that drive from Punta Gorda all the way up to Belize. It did a beauty, so scenic. So you guys are supposed to be rejuvenated. You guys are supposed to be refreshed. After 20 years, and I could remember year one actually, whereby Tide Toledo Institute for Development and Environment, everybody wanted to be a part of it because it just gravitated you. You wanted to be there. Let's talk about from year one to year 20. How has that been for you? You guys could summarize that in a chipping.
Of course, it will take us a number of days to even summarize, but we want to just highlight some of our main accomplishments over the 20 years. Resource protection, we believe we're a leader in resource protection. In 20 years, we've been managing 3 protected areas in southern Belize, the Port Honduras Marine Reserve, the Paynes Creek National Park, and over 20,000 acres of private protected lands held in trust for the people and government of Belize. Of course, we've been doing that in co-management agreements with the Fisheries Department, the Forest Department, and support from government of Belize. So obviously, we've protected resources, natural resources that our communities have depended on over the years, and we intend to continue doing that. We've also done education and outreach, and we've been thinking just recently about one of our main programs, the Freshwater Cup, where we integrate sports and conservation. We started back with 8 teams. Well, we used to have adult teams at the beginning, and then 10 years ago we started just with primary school age students with 8 teams, and they were all male teams. Today we can boast of having 46 schools involved in the Tide Freshwater Cup, both male and female teams. So you can add the numbers. Each school has 36 students, 18 boys, 18 girls. Multiply that by 46 for you to see the impact of that program and how it has grown in the Toledo district. And we hope that we can take it to other districts in our next 20 years. So those are just 2. Maybe Mario can talk about other areas that he's worked on.
Well, I must say that I am probably the longest serving staff at Tide, being there 18 and a half of those 20 years.
Wow.
So it's been a joyride for me. I can't say that I've regretted a day or not even a second that I've been there. I'm looking forward to continue for the next 20 years if possible.
So tell us a bit about what you do at Tide as Protected Areas Manager.
Okay, as Protected Areas Managers, we are responsible to ensure that the resources of the 3 protected areas we manage are in good shape for the sustainable use of those resources by our buffer communities. So it's not just for Tide to use, but the main goal is so that those resources are there for our communities to benefit from them.
And those 3 areas, Paynes Creek
National Park, the Port Honduras Marine Reserve, which are 2 public protected areas, and then the Tide private protected lands.
And Tide has been a leader in fire management over the past years, and Mario has been a key person at Tide, not just at Tide, but I'd say for Belize in terms of
wildland. It's actually wildland fire management. Basically, I got started with this about 15 years ago, and has grown that fire management capacity, not just at Tide, but across Belize. We have been engaging communities as well, because when we participated in the development of the wildland fire management strategy and policy for Belize, it was identified that escape agricultural fires was one of the major causes of deforestation and forest degradation in Belize. So it's something that we had to address. And as a result of that, we started training farmers in the south to actually how to use fire wisely. And as a result of that, we can say, like, for example, for this year, for last year, and so far this year, we have not seen any escape fires from agricultural burns in the south. And we are hoping that we can bring that across the country. And we have started that process by training protected areas staff from across the country, along with the Forest Department personnel, so that the fire program that we have in the south can be replicated in other parts of the country to address fire issues across Belize.
But it seems that a lot of work definitely has been put into what you guys have been doing there at Tide.
Let me just ask one more question, because I think the Port of Honduras Marine Reserve is very interesting. I had the opportunity to visit once. Absolutely beautiful, and I have my affinity for the Southern Keys as well. But what is interesting about the work of Tide is that you have different challenges than maybe a Turnef has, because you also have the border with Guatemala, and we have seen countless stories on Sarstoon River, but this is actually a regular part of what you encounter in your work within these protected areas. Tell us about that part.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the cross-border issues have been something that has been plaguing the South from I was born, and still going today. But as Tide, in terms of our protection of the Marine Reserve, we are working closely with the Belize Coast Guard.
Yeah.
So our contribution is not just to the marine resources, but we are also looking at the security at the national level, especially there in the south. So we work very closely with the Belize Coast Guard and the Fisheries Department to address some of those issues.
I also think that having presence within the reserve 24/7 makes a huge difference, unlike Sarstoon, that doesn't have the ongoing patrols to ensure that our fishing regulations are adhered to. So it's important for us to have presence within our country to ensure that our borders are intact and protected.
And the resources as well.
Right, and our resources that we depend highly on.
Yeah. Now, in terms of illegal fishers in that area, have you been able to minimize, not just, I mean, we know that we've seen issues with Guatemalan engaging in illegal fishing, but Belizeans do it as well. How has that been? How have you been managing that particular situation?
I think that basically the Managed Access program that has rolled out across the country is really helping that situation. Whereby fishers have specific areas that they can now fish. Once they're outside those areas, now they're contravening the law. So each fisher now has 2 fishing zones across that they can fish in, and that has helped us as it relates to that aspect of the illegal activities, because now the fishers have a stake. This area now is theirs. They can now focus on taking care of this along with us for their benefit. And we are seeing that kind of change happening, and people are getting more involved in terms of the management of their resources. And that's the aim that we wanted to hit. And I think the Managed Access program is one that is helping and getting towards that goal.
Great work, like I mentioned. But getting over to Delonie, Forman, and Tide Tours, we've heard so much about Tide Tours. Then again, to continue with what you guys are doing, what is, then again, Tide Tours?
So Tide Tours was established in 1999, and so we don't have 20 years.
So you're the baby of the bunch?
Yes, we're the baby of the bunch. It's a subsidiary of Tide, and it was initially set up to provide a source of alternative livelihoods for fishers who were engaging in illegal resource extraction activities. So, for example, some of these fishers, we train them to become tour guides, and they use that same, instead of harvesting so many resources, they use that same, like, for example, the permit, and they show that over and over again to the visitors, and that is a means of alternative livelihoods for them. So Tide Tours was basically set up for that. And then we do a lot of international marketing to bring visitors to Toledo, and so we train the guides, plus we bring visitors to them.
So you bring them business.
We bring the business to Toledo. That was Tide Tours' initial reason of, Tide's initial reason for setting up Tide Tours. Over the years, though, we've changed a lot. We've expanded. We don't only bring visitors to Belize for leisure purposes or vacation purposes, but we also have a new program called Ridge to Reef Expeditions, and that program specifically brings especially volunteers to participate in some of the research activities that Tide does. So it's not only about the leisure vacations. You come for a purpose too. So when you leave, you know that you've helped with reforestation, you've helped with coral monitoring, you've helped with manatee research, So you go back with a sense of pride in knowing that you've supported conservation in Belize by booking a tour with Tide Tours. And that's the unique thing. 100% of our proceeds goes back into Tide's education and outreach department.
Okay.
And for example, over the past 10 years, Tide Tours has brought into the economy over $1 million Belize. And when we do our we've invested at least $100,000 in international marketing over the past year. And when we represent at these international trade shows, we push conservation first, and then, Belize first, and then conservation. But we also showcase what Toledo has to offer, because Toledo is not really the forgotten district anymore.
No, it's not.
And the type of clients that the type of visitors we attract are those who really want to connect with nature, and they really appreciate the work that we do. So we have people who, it's just not tourists who would come one day and take a few pictures and leave. They almost become members of our organization, and they help with conservation. And so Tide Tours is very important to Toledo, not only to Tide, because it brings in so much income.
That's so fantastic. What about the tour guides that you work with? Have you seen a growing interest in persons wanting to become trained as tour guides in whatever area?
Yes, for sure. Tide Tours has also applied for grants, whereby we train local youths in getting their tour guide licenses. We've trained perhaps about 10 to 20 tour guides. We've also been the pioneer company in bringing fly fishing to Toledo back in 1999, and kayaking and all these type of eco adventures. So we've also assisted with grants to start little cultural groups, so that we extend we diversify the type of tours that we do. It's not just nature based. We're very big on culture, and we work along with these community groups to ensure that it's a sustainable type of program that we have too. But when it comes to coming up, we have specification courses that our tour guides will be able to participate to, like wilderness tracking, bird certification courses. So we're not just a tour operator. We do a lot of product development and community involvement in our work.
You know, I never thought of volunteer conservation as a niche for tourism, and it's beautiful that you guys have been able to find that, because it suits your purpose so well.
Yes.
How much of a market is there for this particular type of tourist who want to come to Belize and participate in research?
It is growing. It is new, like the Ridge to Reef expedition programs, which primarily focuses on conservation and volunteer activities, was started back in 2013. We didn't know anything prior to that. We didn't have enough market research, especially in Belize, to support the program, and would say, well, this is going to work. But our marketing efforts to connect with universities and, to really push this whole coming to Belize with a purpose, for conservation purpose actually, it's growing. We see that the market is growing, and we see that it's meaningful activities that they're doing, and people actually want to give to Tide. So it's like you're donating to Tide, but you get an adventure.
Of course.
And that's
and get to see some of the beautiful places.
Yes, they get to travel not only in Toledo but throughout. And Toledo is so unique.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next, because I cannot understand why some people have not ventured down to PG.
I know there's
the road is, to Toledo, the road is far easier for travel, and they just don't know what they're missing out on.
Exactly, like Toledo is just the perfect little snippet of Belize.
Yeah.
You get the entire Ridge to Reef experience in 30 minutes. You could be in this Caribbean Sea, and within 30 minutes you could choose to be at a waterfall, Maya Ruin, cave, cultural experience. Every single thing you get in the country of Belize, you can get in PG.
One spot.
And a diverse
Toledo.
group of people.
Yes, the PG is authenticity.
That's right.
We have the East Indian cultures, we have Mestizo, Creole, Maya, Mennonite, everything. And we've worked with we have certain families that we work with to showcase their cultural backgrounds, their lifestyle to visitors. And people pay a lot of money to see that.
Making and some drum lessons.
Toledo is just so diverse. There's so much potential for development. However, we're attracting a really good and sustainable type of visitors in PG. It's people who appreciate nature, people who will help us to preserve our environment.
The
And
And
reason-
a good time to come to Toledo in May is for the chocolate
Yeah, the
festival.
cacao festival.
when is it?
It's chocolate.
That's May
19,
20th.
19,
Weekend.
20, 21st, yeah.
It's
Oh,
a good time to come.
May.
And
Yeah.
of course, Tide Tours will have some tours for that weekend.
Yes,
right?
we'll have special
Delonie.
tours, especially and rates, good rates for Belizeans.
And they can do the cave system and waterfalls.
Caves, they could do
The
3 different
keys.
sites in a day. You could
Yeah.
be doing kayaking, rowing, and snorkeling in one day.
One day.
There's just so much to offer, and a lot of people still don't know about Toledo, and I encourage them to visit tidetours.org, and that's like exclusively Toledo.
You know,
That's what we do.
I'm a proud Punta Gordanian.
First of
Because
all.
one of the things, and, you know, I just want to throw in one of the things I love, especially about Punta Gorda or the Toledo,
Toledo,
district.
yeah.
Let's be specific. The Toledo district is that, to me, it's actually the cultural capital of
It is.
Belize.
It is.
You've got
Boy.
diversity when it comes to. We've got diversity when
We
it
have to
comes to
coin
all
a
the
different
cultures.
phrase for it though, before you get down.
That's right. That's right. You know, one of the things I notice about Taido, and we've heard this so many times in the news, and my uncle is actually a recipient of it, is that farm base, because I've noticed that one of the things Tide has done is helping families is starting their farm. Can you elaborate more on
So
this?
we've done a number of community development projects with an intention of supplementing livelihoods of particularly communities that live near the protected areas that we manage. And we've done numerous projects. We've done chicken rearing projects, seaweed farming, fruit drying facility for fishing women. We've done a restaurant in Punta Negra that's still operational. So this is a good time for me to tell Belizeans to visit Punta Negra. There's great food. The women there cook real good food. So go to Punta Negra. And I can go on with the number of supplemental livelihood opportunities that we've offered to communities. In Monkey River recently, we did gardening, backyard gardening for women, skills trainings, dive trainings, tour guide trainings. I mean, numerous. 2 barber shops in Punta Gorda. One
Wow.
is very successful, operational at the moment. And I can go on and on.
You
with
also have your
the
own
investments.
Hallmark Festival, your
Yes.
annual fish festival.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So again, because it's our 20th anniversary this year, our fish festival is going to be bigger, better, greater. So a good time to invite Belizeans to come to PG. Third, always the Columbus,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Pan American holiday weekend in PG, and we always start off with a fishing tournament, and then we have all the activities at the Tide compound, fun activities. Our community members have an opportunity to sell what they make, refreshments, food.
Isn't there a pageant?
There's
as well?
also, well, we used to have a youth conservation competition. We won't have that this year. We've had it for 10 years.
What kind of fish are those?
Those are barracuda.
All right. And what kind of fish do you find, like when you have your fishing tournament, what kind of fish are people going after?
It varies. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people go after barracuda, but we have some guys who have larger boats and can get further out looking at like wahoo and those.
Okay.
People go to win.
Yeah.
So they go for the
they,
bigger,
they go for the
bigger
bigger
fish.
fish.
Yes.
That's a
The
nice
thing is,
one.
we have certain rules there as it relates to the fishing. We don't accept Goliath grouper, any of
Okay,
those
yeah.
species that we are in
Protected.
that are really protected and are
Endangered,
threatened or
threatened.
endangered species. So there are certain species we don't accept.
Over the past 20 years of Tide, what would you say would be one of the biggest accomplishments of Tide?
I would say our community engagement in our activities. We do nothing without community engagement. In each of our programs, communities are engaged. If you look around at our staff, we are all from, or most of us, I'd say 99% of our staff are from the Toledo community. Our community development work engages community. Our education and outreach engages thousands of students in our schools. So, and that's the reason why our theme is celebrating 20 years of community participation in conservation.
You know, it's not easy for many organizations to keep expanding over the course of 2 decades? You know, resources internationally are harder to access. You know, we've seen some organizations shrink as time goes by, but you have been able to expand and be able to stay true to what you first set out to do. What would you say has been, obviously you have great supporters. So let's talk a bit about that. The support, whether financial, in kind, partnership, that has really sustained the organization.
Yes. So we couldn't do any of our work without our donors. We've had donors that supported Tide from the beginning to, I would say, 2-3 years now ago. Donors like the Nature Conservancy was one of our first donors. The Oak Foundation, which we all know has left Belize, but we have a 2-year grant, a last 2-year grant with them, a closing grant. MAR Fund, the Protected Areas Conservation Trust, GEF Small Grants Program, Massachusetts Audubon Society, the Summit Foundation have been like our core funders that we know we can rely on almost on an annual basis for funding. And of course, we've had other donors from time to time who'd give us funding, you know, here and there, individual donors. And for the Debt for Nature swap, we have like funding from the government of Belize for our private lands management, at least some funding for that. So we could never ever do it without international funding. And more we're seeing Belizeans and Friends of Tide contributing, even if in small amounts, to Tide's work. And the Fish Festival is also a great time when we get support from our business community in throughout the entire country of Belize. So we have great support, and we're looking forward to ongoing support for our programs, because we would not be able to do it without them. And of course, our staff has been extremely dedicated, really committed. We can't pay people for the quality of work that they've done and they continue to do over the years. And also we have, I think, a very strong board of directors that has also supported the organization.
You know, I have to say, one of the things that I use as a gauge when we look at different organizations and to see how content the staff is based on their longevity. And quite a number of the faces, I'd say the majority of the faces, have been with this organization for quite some time. So it shows that they're happy in the environment, but also love what they're doing, because following your passion is what drives you.
Well, I think looking at it, we are actually taking care of our backyard. That's our home.
And that's right.
And we have to feel, we have to take care of it. And that's the reason why I got involved with this, because I used to be a fisherman in the past. I'm from Monk River. And probably you guys know of all the issues that we have there. And I must say that Tide has been very instrumental in helping us out there in terms of forming the Monk River Watershed Association, which is another success that I could say that Tide has been very much involved with. And the whole idea behind that watershed is to address the issues impacting that watershed that is impacting the community through the erosion and all of that stuff. So definitely we have to say thanks to Tide for getting this off the ground for us, and a group of dedicated people that have taken it on and pushing it forward.
You know, with the 20 years right here with us, over the past few, we've noticed a lot of marine biologists coming out of Toledo, coming out of the Toledo district. How have you guys keep these students, especially because if you talk to a lot of students down in the high schools and PG, what do you want to be? Marine biologists. Where do you want to work? I want to work at Tide. How do you guys continue to engage these students to keep with the thought and then again the passion of what they want to be when they grow up?
I would say 8-9 years ago, we realized that students were not interested in the science and marine biology and all that, and we started a program called Community Researchers. So we trained individuals to dive and to do research protocols and to actually participate in helping us with data collection. We hired them part-time, and we've found that of the 25 individuals that we've trained, most of those individuals are employed at the moment. Some of them have moved on to do their associate and bachelor degree degrees in natural resource management. So I believe that program has helped a number of individuals to become interested in particularly marine biology and natural resource management.
Nice. And you know what?
I can't go without saying that right now there are some, through the U.S. Embassy last year, we accessed a grant for skills training. So to offer 13 different skills training per year for 2 years for youths that are unemployed. And we started that program last year in October. And right now there are some women, and there's like, make sure you mention when you, but there are some women who are doing, they're learning to sew, and they're about to complete their sewing class in the next couple of weeks. So hello women, and to all those who've done the skills trainings. We've done several, and over 100 youths already have been trained in different skills, and some of them are already utilizing those skills. So,
you know, Celia, you pointed out from the beginning that there's no way we can go through all the accomplishments for 20 years. And it seems that every time we introduce a topic, there's something else that comes to mind. It really shows that you have contributed so much to the community. And it's not just about, and this is the key to conservation that I know conservationists try to speak about. It's not about protecting trees or the sea. It's about building livelihoods and maintaining the beautiful environment that we get to enjoy today. So it is evident that you have made major contributions, and you get to celebrate now 20 years. And I understand you're going to do so. You had a jingle competition.
Yes.
Who's singing? Who's singing?
So can we just briefly go through our calendar of activities, and then we end with the jingle. So we have video screening. So we'll be showing videos of our work throughout the year. We'll be participating in the upcoming chocolate festival. We'll be sharing our success stories of 20 stakeholders, success stories of staff who have worked at Tide, and find them. You know, they're working at different places right now in Belize. Success stories of our volunteers. We're doing a walkathon. We'll be celebrating Fisher Folk Month in June. We'll continue to have our summer camps. We will also have an entrepreneurial fair for all the individuals that have participated in skills training. We'll be participating in the September celebrations. We'll have a kayak race and many, many more. So those are only a few snippets. And our Fish Fest will be bigger, better, brighter this year.
Wow.
So a lot for people to take in.
A lot.
And I believe that hopefully we've been able to encourage more people to head down south, and they might be there for your Fish Fest or the Cow Fest, and when they do, they need to call Tide Tours. To be able to share in the experience. But I want to hear about this jingle. So who competed in the competition?
We had approximately 10 entries this year, and we had a prize of $500 for the winner. We were so what do you say? We were happy to know that almost all the entries came from PG, and the winner is from Punta Gorda town. It hasn't been announced yet until now.
Woohoo! Okay.
So
from 10 entries. And these are original compositions.
It had
and
to be
lyrics.
original, right?
And what was the objective of the jingle?
So the objective was specifically to celebrate Tide's 20th anniversary. So it wasn't a Tide jingle; it was a Tide anniversary jingle, and it had to contain the theme, which is celebrating 20 years of community participation in conservation. And it had to have something about Tide's work in it.
Okay. We need a drum roll. Go, John.
So the winner of the Tide Jingle competition is Tariq Magdaleno.
Wow, Tariq Magdaleno.
Tariq composed the song, original lyrics, and it was produced over by Jovia Franco. So we get to listen to it.
Who's also from Tide.
Who's also from
Tide, yes.
All right, so let's hear this jingle, and congratulations to Tariq as well.
Celebrating 20 years of community participation in conservation. Tide Belize, promoting sustainable management of our environment.
hear it back. What do the DJs do? Rewind.
Rewind and come again.
All right. Are we ready? Yeah, bring him back from the top.
And Tariq Magdaleno is definitely a very talented individual. He is very talented, and congratulations to Tariq.
Where is he a student or?
Tariq, he works at PGTV.
Okay.
Yeah, so he does a lot of music and he's very talented in what
Very
he does.
I must say it was
honestly.
difficult to select a winner too, though, because
Yeah.
we had very good entries, and I was surprised to see some of the quality of the entries.
Quality, yes.
You know,
All right. So they're saying that we're ready and set again. So we get it all the way back from the top from the winner, Tariq Magdaleno.
Celebrating 20 years of community participation in conservation. Tide Belize, promoting sustainable management of our environment. Tide Belize, working with our community. Tide Belize, so we can sustain our land and sea. Situated deep in the south, yes, I'm talking about TIDE, down in PG. Sustaining natural resources from Maya Mountains to the Keys. Yes, the Keys. This is for you, this is for me. It will benefit all our we. So come together, lend a hand, let us preserve our land. I believe promoting sustainable management of our environment. I believe. Tide Belize.
All right, quick.
Nice.
Short and
Great job and congratulations. I have to say, listening to the lyrics, I was trying to pay attention to the lyrics and not dance too much, but definitely focusing on your contributions on the South once again. And I think obviously you've delivered your message to the people of the community that they can be able to put together music like this on your behalf. So what does he win? $500?
$500 to be picked up tomorrow at the Tide office.
Really?
Okay. He'll be a little bit sad that everybody knows now that he has
Yeah.
extra money
Oh,
for
yeah.
tomorrow. No, got a Walukas because everybody has from beer.
Wow,
All
that's a
right.
good
You
one.
know, it has been such a beautiful conversation with you guys. I think, John is from the South, so he feels like he's home watching these photos.
That's
And I
right.
spent a bit of time in PG, and it's just beautiful to see this organization still thriving, and we hope that you continue to get support and wish you the best of luck. Anything else you'd like to share as we close?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share, snippets of our work. And we hope to keep coming back throughout the year.
Okay, fantastic.
I have one thing that I'd like to share before we go.
I know you have a big up too.
Nah, not really a big up, but it's really sort of a notice, especially to users of fire. We're in the dry season, especially in central Belize with the passage of Hurricane Earl recently or late last year. There's a lot of fuel on the ground.
Yeah, dry wood.
Dry fuel, and if you're not careful, we can see another major fire like we see after Hurricane Richard in that region.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very, very crucial. That's going to be very dangerous and very destructive. So I want to ask people to be very careful when using fire to ensure that that fire doesn't escape and burn things that they don't want to burn.
Okay, thank you so much. Staying responsible still, very
Yes.
to the end. We appreciate that. We're going to go ahead now, though, and take our break. And when we come back, it's for Mandarin lessons, so stay tuned.